Hi, Mayuree. Welcome to the Speak to Lead podcast. It's great to have you on the show today, and we're looking forward to having a conversation around your journey. You're in the tech world and had quite the career so far, and I look forward to delving into some of your challenges with that world, and especially around the subject of communication, negotiation, and get some insights into your world. So it'd be great if you could start out by letting anybody out there who's listening know who you are and what's your career been so far. What do you actually do?
Yeah, of course, of course. First of all, thanks for having me. My name is Mayuree. I originally from Thailand. I live in Singapore now with Adobe. But before that, I started my career as financial auditor and had a big shift in career 2 years after that, like slowly, slide into more a tech world. But with that being said, I am more on a business person within a tech company. So I don't know how to code, but I've been very much involved in the product and then the way that the customer use it. I promote how the customer use it, make sure they get the most out of the tool that they have. So that's my role. And outside of work, I like to hike. I love dogs. I have two beautiful boys back home, back in Thailand, that I've been traveling in multiple countries, especially in Southeast Asia. Had a hike in a few other countries. I love Nepal. Yeah, so that's
Beautiful.
me.
Right. And what I'm curious because you said you started out as a financial auditor. What made you shift from that realm into to working to it with Adobe and more of the tech side of things?
Great question. So actually, looking back, I got my scholarship from KPMG, which is very big, one of the big four financial auditor company, right? Back in university. And back then, I was only the first year student. But to be honest, if you look back at yourself when you're a first year student, you really know what you like. I didn't. If you do, a lot of people out there do. I think it's great for them, but I didn't definitely. So but it seems like a great opportunity back then, right? So what it offered is that they paid off my tuition for the rest of my uni. I get a chance to work in Singapore. I'm immediately get the job, but I'm bonded, right? So I'll be bonded, but it sounds like a great deal. So I took it. And 2 years in, I realized I really, really hate the job. A lot of people, I was good at my job, but being good at something and liking it is are two completely different things, right? So after 2 years, I finished my bond and decided to make a shift immediately. And then it was a great, great decision. One of the best decision in my life.
What made you decide to go into to work? Did you go straight into Adobe from working as in the financial auditing, or?
No, no. So funny story is that I quit my job actually. I quit and then I plan to get another job in another insurance company. I already got it. And then there's this person that helped me to is actually the guys from KPMG that give me scholarship. And I actually text him, thank you for opportunity. This is not for me. And bye. Right? So you say, well, and he said like, no, you're not. Surprised in the way that he see the capability that I have, and he matched me with another role that I didn't know exist. So he put me into this transformation role, right? So I continue to stay in KPMG after I decided to quit the financial auditor role. So started my career in a totally different area, right? So I started in a transformation space, starting from the project manager, PMO, before staying TPMG for a while, and then I moved to Adobe.
So you said
Yeah.
that somebody in the company noticed your ability, your capabilities, and just didn't want to let you go. And that's what made them, what about it, about your skill set or about who you are, do you think should, made them think that this new role, this transformational role, was going to be more suitable to you? Or did you already have an idea of that being something you wanted to do?
Not at all. The the job that I was getting is with this insurance company and doing completely different things. But what he saw in me is the ability to manage things in a very structured way, the ability to grasp a new concept, even though I don't really understand it in depth, right? And then go do some study and then come back to really understand the content and then the areas very well.
Okay, so it was your ability to grasp new things and to be able to go away and learn and then come back with the solutions that made him like notice and think that you were going to be suitable for this role.
Yeah, yeah. We should like there are a lot of things that he saw that I didn't even notice. Ability to understand cross culture as well, because back then I was starting my career in Singapore. So I got a chance to work with a lot of people. And then it's very important when you work with in a project with multicultural team members, right? That you understand that context and then manage the stakeholder within a project appropriately.
So did you already have those skills, or where and if so, where did you gain that knowledge to be able to manage different cultural, you know, team members, team members from different cultures?
Question. I was actually very lucky to start my career in Singapore, which is very diverse in terms of the people that you get to work with. So in my team back in Singapore, I collaborate with at least 10 nationalities from all around the world. So I get to understand, oh, this is Singapore culture, this is, American, this is Australian, and then I'll be able to manage and then manage them a little bit better compared to other people that only work within Thailand or only within, like certain country.
Okay, so you already had, a lot of that experience simply from the previous role that you were in. Is that
Yes. Yeah,
within
yeah,
within
correct.
KPMG?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I started in KPMG Singapore.
Right. And you moved to Singapore simply because this program you were sponsored through university and that's why you moved there, or did you already want to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
Singapore before you agreed to that program?
Really. I was young and didn't think much to the future, to be honest. I didn't imagine me going out to other countries, but the opportunities there, I went through the process, I got it. So I decided, and then it's actually like the ASEAN program whereby you get to choose from different to choose to get a job because KPMG is a global company. They have branches everywhere in Southeast Asia. So they let me choose which country I want to go for. So of course I choose Singapore because it's most challenging one and then the most international one. And
Ah,
they speak English. So
I okay. So that's
that's
interesting.
important.
You
Yeah.
you you picked the one that was the most challenging. Why? What made you do that?
Um, is I like challenges. I like problem solving, and I like to see the progress. So that's so for me, Singapore is obviously the obvious choice for me back then.
The progress in yourself, or the progress that you can make, or the contribution you can make in the role, or what about that is important?
I was more focused on the progress in myself because you have very difficult issues to solve. And then if you manage to solve it, then I consider that a big win for me. Progress.
Okay, so you really approached it with this sort of like attitude of I'm going to put myself in the deep end and learn as much as I can from the situation.
Yeah, yeah. I never been to Singapore before that at all. Like I don't know the culture. I don't know anybody from Singapore, but I do some research and then I feel like a good fit for me.
That takes a lot of guts. Where do you think that
Yeah.
courage comes from? Did you, you know, are your parents like that, or what about tackling the difficult things? Where do you think that came from?
Mm, mm. I done similar thing back in high school. Because in back in high school around 11th grade, I also got this purchase in culture exchange program in the US. So I lived in California for 10 months actually in when I was 16 doing it during high school basically. So it was the first time I ever traveled outside Thailand. Like, I never been to any foreign country before. I don't speak the language. I didn't even speak English back then. And will have to fly there by myself and stay there with a host family and attend the school that, that are very diverse because California, you have people that coming from different parts of the world, right? It's quite diverse as well. And that, for me, that was the biggest shift in my life when I was younger. So going to Singapore again, for me, doesn't seem like as drastic back then because I experienced something similar before and then it was much more difficult because of the language barrier as well. But when I was there, I didn't speak a word of English. But I understand the grammar. I couldn't speak. If you and then if you put a foreigner like English speaker in front of me back then, I wouldn't be able to communicate. But before I go to Singapore, when I got decided to move for my career, I was quite okay. I was quite fluent speaking English. So
Did that come through? I mean, I imagine over the 10 months that you spent in the United States that
yeah,
that you learned quite a
definitely.
lot.
That goes a long way. Yes, definitely. That's where I learned my English.
I, did you have also a desire? I mean, you said you wanted to go to Singapore because they also spoke English and things. So you had that active desire to elevate your English speaking to another level as well, or to continue your
Um,
development.
Not really.
No,
Not
okay.
really. It was not about English. It was about career progression, I think. Because if you stay in Thailand or the project that you'll be handle is only limited to Thailand, right? So it's very local because to do business in Thailand, you must speak Thai most of the time. Right. Yeah. But in Singapore, it's so international. So while in Thailand, I can do the national level project, right? Singapore, you get to do regional. You get to do something Southeast Asia level. You get to do something broader than that. So that's what feels quite attractive for me for moving to Singapore.
What's the motivation there? What is it about, you know, international business, and there's this, that side of business that inspires you? You clearly really want that. What do you think it is about that that's a motivation for you?
I would say it's a curiosity and then the drive to do more as well. I'm curious what it's like because all I hear growing up in Thailand is that Singapore is tough, it's very competitive, but it has a lot of opportunity. You learn a lot after you spend a few years in Singapore. You will progress very fast, and then just because the business scale is just bigger, people are amazingly there because Singapore, they do a lot of, as a country, they have a lot of initiative to bring the talent from around the world, right? That's why they're so diverse. That's why the economy is so big. So so that is a big part.
I'm curious because obviously you're now in this role at Adobe. You're working in Singapore. You're at quite a high level in business, and you're obviously interacting with people from different countries, different cultures and languages when it comes to communicating with those, the various backgrounds and various types of people. What's your experience been, and how do you find managing those differences?
Great question. I think the big thing is not the culture when I work in Adobe, because it's so diverse. It's so diverse. Um we have around 300 employees here in Singapore, and everybody come from all the places in the world. So it's not really much in the culture, because everybody adapt to each other and then understand quite well. That everybody have quite global mindset, right? So they interact with each other and very open minded and try to understand each other culture and accent very well. But for me, it's more about interacting with people from different roles, with different motivation, with different KPI. So what I have learned very quickly, when you interact with people from diverse team, right? The first thing you have to understand is the motivation. What are their KPI? So when I have to work with the people from different team, one of the first thing I need to find out is their KPI, what they are trying to do, what's their motivation, how do I communicate to them in the way that is most effective? How do I get their collaboration in the way that benefit me, benefit them, and benefit us? You know,
How do you go about that? Because I think that is a really useful skill or thing to find out. How do you approach that? How do you figure out what people's motivations are?
KPI wise, not very difficult, like because even though Adobe is a very complex organization, people have different role, and then every role have KPI defined, right? So that is a fundamental thing that you can find out as a company. The more challenging thing that is more on the client side. You need to try to build a relationship and try to find the right moment to understand where they're coming from, what is their motivation, what they're trying to achieve, and then how can we win together? How can I win? How can they win? How can we all both can win?
And do you have ways of doing that, or what are your thoughts about how you approach finding out what the clients need and want?
Um, it's It will take a while. Like there some role from their role, right? Let's say if I'm talking to the chief marketing officers, most likely her KPI will be sales from the campaign, right? So like how much revenue she can bring in. If I talk about like the IT team that's supporting, most likely it would be about cost reduction. So you have to understand a little bit about their role, and then what their implied KPI, and then you try to build relationship from people around them, understand, follow the news, and then try to based from that, I think you can get pretty close. And then once a relationship is built, you can actually ask them. Some of the clients ask outright, what is your KPI? How can I help you to achieve your KPI as well?
Okay. So they've also sounds like they also have a similar mindset of like how do I help this other person win?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about your current role? What is your role actually at Adobe, and how do you feel about it? What's the direction for you?
My role is CSM, Customer Success Manager. So as I share, I'm not a developer. I don't write code. I'm more business side. So my role is a post sales role. So in Adobe, a lot of people didn't know that we also have the marketing technology side as well. So a lot of people know Adobe as, like creativity company that have Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator. So that is only one side. And then of course Adobe Acrobat and then PDF, right? So that is one side. I am on the other side, which is on the marketing technology. So um, as a marketing technology, the key customer are big corporates that they use our tool to send out the marketing like message the customer. Sometimes you go out and you're in front of the company. Sometimes you get like this promotional email. Sometimes you get push notification from the app. So those things can be orchestrated using Adobe Marketing Stack, right? So I belong to this marketing stack. Okay. So my role is customer success manager, whereby is a post-sales role whereby the customer already have the license. They're already using the tool. So, but the having the tool does not equal to using the tool efficiently and make the most of it, because to be honest, our food is very expensive. So my role is how to come in, make sure how they know how to use the tool. And then when they have to renew the license, let's say 5 years down the road, they feel like they um, make the most out of the investment they pay Adobe, and they want to renew. So that's my role.
Okay, and it's also a really interesting point to make sure that the people that already have the product are using the product in the way that best benefits them, so that when it comes to them
Yes.
repurchasing the product, they actually want to. Yeah, and
Yes. Yes. So
I
that's
know
true.
that from from some of the questions we've had before we started recording, that you struggle with perfectionism in your role a little bit, and trying to balance perfectionism with getting things done. How do you sort of balance that with the role that you have now, as far as like trying to do everything perfectly, and also just recognizing that that's maybe not possible?
Yeah. Um, this is something that I only figured out not too long ago, and I really wish the younger self, younger Mayuree actually understand it when I was much younger, because I has always been such a perfectionist. I always want to do something in the best way. I want it's like that, just perfect, right? But perfection doesn't really exist. So you for this is like when I was young, I have a few things that I think if I do this, I'll be happy. This is perfect for me. There's like certain competition, certain KPI, certain thing that I need to hit. And once I hit, and you were there, you're standing on the podium, like number one, right, with the medal. But you will start to see that there's actually something higher than that that you need to like strive for. So it become like a moving goal. It become like a moving target. So the younger me would be then, of course I was happy with my achievement, but it lasts so brief, because the moment that I got there, I saw a new goal, and then hence it's an endless chase. Like I'm always running after this moving target. So I'm not really getting anywhere. I was feeling empty. I was feeling anxious. I thought I was not doing enough. So after years and years of that, it's kind of dawned on me one day that instead of trying to focus on the perfection, shift the focus from the perfection to the progress, right? To real world is messy. There are a lot of competing priorities, incomplete information, misinformation, disinformation, and a lot of human emotions involved along the way, right? You strive for the perfect solution, you'll miss the chance to move forward. So I would say to aim for the clarity, and then aim for to get the momentum, then adjust as you go. So aim for the progress. Focus, shift the focus from from the perfection to progress.
So, like, do you mean like breaking it down into smaller steps, and to
Yeah,
yeah, to like
exactly, exactly.
appreciate the journey? Is that
Exactly, exactly. You struck like the well, I break it down into smaller goal, and then appreciate that, rather than just having this very big ambitious goal that and then keep like moving it without appreciating what I have accomplished so far. So
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people out there struggle with that, especially those like yourself who have achieved already quite a lot. It tends to be the drive to achieve great things means that you're always looking at what's to come rather than, how far you've come and what you're currently doing. It can be a tricky balance to strike between wanting to move forward and appreciating where you are. So
Yeah.
do you feel like you've found more of that balance now in your current role?
Yeah, I think it's a work in progress, but I think I'm getting that. I learned to appreciate small wins rather than back in the day. I was never happy because I have this big goal that I need to hit. And along the way, it was just so difficult. The journey was so hard. Then I have to, and I curse myself every day. Why I have to like work so hard for this. And then once I get it, I was not exactly happy because I felt that, oh, there's actually another big goal that I need to chase because it is not perfect yet.
Yeah, yeah, true. When it comes to the communication side of things, you're in the Speak to Lead program at the moment. What was your motivation for joining the program? What is it about learning to communicate more effectively that spoke to you?
Yeah, it's most likely most important factor is my career change as well. I just recently changed my job, and then actually I'm only 8 months in my current job at Adobe, and the role is quite different from my previous job. My previous job, I interact with less people, like less team members and less I only work with one client at a time. So it's more like a project base. So I have this 10 team members trying to complete this software, let's say, this implementation of certain software to one customer only. And then after I'm done, I move into the next implementation with the next team member with another client. So it's always one project, one after another. But the current role is drastically different. So I have 5, 6 very big customer that I need to work with. And it's not only a few contact points. So in the one customer, let's say one big company, they have 5, 6 team. And each team have different team members that I need to interact with. And Adobe as it is, it's a very complex organization. I learned that very early on when I come in. So I have a few team member here in Singapore that I need to work with, and then it's very complex. And then a few like many more other teams sitting in Australia, many more sitting in America, many more sitting around the world. So it's very complex. And then suddenly the pool of people that I need to interact and communicate with from here is become here. It's just so much. And
Do
then
you
I think
feel
I need to progress. I need to like practice a little bit how to manage all this overwhelming communication I need to have on a daily basis.
so? Is it being clear in the communication, or is it the connection element, or speaking up? What exactly is the challenge there with communicating with like a much larger, more diverse group of people?
Being clear, concise, and effective is definitely one of the top things. But the other thing I've learned, and then I think I need to work on, is on how to handle conflict, how to deal with difficult people, because you can't avoid that. You can't avoid that, right? So you work with when you work with more people, like you get to work with more people with different personality, different spectrum, and you can't really avoid a conflict that will pop up sometimes.
Right. And so it sounds like you're taking, the same approach that you have to everything in your life, which is tackling it head on and going, okay, I need to be able to, deal with these people in an effective manner. What can I do to make that possible? And so is that the motivation for doing this training and this program?
Exactly. You got it. Yes.
It's nice. It's always cool. I always love talking to people that have that proactive approach, because so often we shy away. We kind of, we hide from the challenges that we're facing, and but we learn that if we turn away from the things that we're struggling with, the challenges that we're facing, those challenges get bigger. But when you do, take the approach that you're
Yeah.
taking, and to say, right, what can I do right now to tackle this head on, then it ends up being the challenge ends up being much smaller overall. So it's a great mindset to adopt, and
Yeah.
it sounds like it's
Yeah.
serving
But
you
it's
quite well.
Yeah, but it's not immediate, right? So like when like the process you described actually occurred to me as well. So I ran into a challenge, and then I now how do I do this more effectively? It's very overwhelming. I sit on it for a while, and I realized that the inaction actually add on to my stress. So I need to take some action, right? So I think stress is not really come from you. Actually, stress is actually come from inaction, I would say, at least for me. If I don't do anything, then it just keep growing. So that's why after a while, I can't stay in that state for very long. So I need to take action somehow.
That's a really good point. Stress comes from inaction. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think that often it's the thoughts that we're telling ourselves that blow up into a really big thing. If you're not doing anything, if you're not actively taking action, then you've got lots of time to think about everything that could be going
Yeah,
wrong. You know,
exactly. Exactly. That's what happened to me.
so it's good that it's great that you noticed that, and you're like, okay, I just got to do something. So how did you find out about the speech to lead program?
Actually, shopping around in this website is called Preply. Do you know like it's an online platform. So it have like a bunch of let's say it's like a Tinder, but for English teacher.
Okay.
So that you like so you have like this profile of different English teacher that you can go through and see whether they match with your need or not. If um if you find somebody you think that you could match with that can, help you in the area that you want, you can book some time with the person to try. I I actually tried a few other tutors, a few other people before I met Ben. So it didn't really work out. But yeah, for Ben, I think we are good making good progress. So we have some building some good things, some good progress.
Wonderful. And what is the goal for you by the end of this program, for example? What are you hoping to achieve through taking part in it?
Well, I want to mostly is more related to my career to be able to manage my team members, my colleagues a little bit better, even though things are not exactly easy. Be able to handle difficult conversation in the way that you at the same time you don't offend anybody or offend like offend them the least and also making progress. Right. And then also I also actually really started from that. But along the way I also saw that that could be what I learned could be applied for my personal life outside of work as well, like with my partner, with my friends. How do I tell a more compelling story? How do I have a difficult conversation with them? So I think it's really helped with the way I communicate all around in every area. I think, yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that I think that's often the case. We learn a specific skill usually to start out with, wanting to earn more money or be more effective in our careers and our jobs, and then you realize, especially I think when it comes to communication, that yes, it most certainly help in your career and communicate with your colleagues, but it's one of those skills that when you're effective at communication and you can engage with different types of people in different ways and navigate what they need and what you
yeah,
need, it
yes,
helps in every aspect of life. Eh?
yeah. You summarize it so well. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's great. It's great to hear that you're already experiencing some of those benefits, not only in your business or in your career, but also in other areas of life. Because I think that's one of the cool things about learning skills like communication is that you use them everywhere. You know, you can learn it for one specific purpose, but ultimately it benefits you in multiple different ways. And when you notice that and
Yeah.
appreciate it, it makes it all the more worthwhile. Well, before we wrap up, Mayuree, is there anything that you wanted to share that we haven't covered yet? If there's anything, I don't know, maybe to anybody else out there listening that you wanted to share from your experiences so far in business or communication, anything that you felt like sharing that we haven't yet discussed?
A few things that I encountered in my career, and then I think it's worthwhile sharing is for everybody's out there who's struggling, right? Because back for me, I struggle a lot when I make a career change. It's so scary when you have to make a career change sometime. And that change is something really outside your comfort zone or something's really besides what you know, right? But I so one thing I like to share, right, is that you might be surprised how often that opportunities come from others that see something in you that you hadn't fully recognized in yourself. Right. So my first big career shift happened because, the same person who gave me my first job invited me to a completely new role. And then my move to Adobe also began when my current manager messaged me on LinkedIn just because he see my qualification and there's like hundreds and hundreds of people applying for that role, right? But he saw something, he texted me personally, and then I got the job. So it's show it's shown me that the career aren't always about planning every step. They're always about being open when somewhere else open a door for you as well. So I think for those who's like struggling, right? Just, you know, recognize that there you might have this opportunity as well.
Beautiful message. Yeah, I think one it's very needed as well because I think there are a lot of people out there struggling. They're struggling in different ways, and to have that attitude towards it, and to realize that you know those those opportunities do come to you and can come to you when you know stay open to them. So it's a
Yeah.
great mindset to have.
Making a shift in a career, right? Like make a total different shift in a total different industry is you will face the steep learning curve. So one of the two mental framework that I usually use is the first one is be like a sponge. Try to absorb as much as you can. Take the newbie framework, right? Because you're new, take like exploit it. Not exploit, but leverage it, make the most out of it. Ask a lot of questions when you first change and and secondly, never give up. The learning curve will always be high when you change to a different role in a different field. And the only moment you should give up is the moment you get fired.
One could argue even then maybe maybe it's best not to give up, but maybe try a different tact.
Yeah, do not give up. Yes.
Wonderful. I think that's a beautiful place to end it. Thank you once again
Mm,
for coming on and talking to me, Mayuri. It's been great hearing about your journey. I love the mindset and the attitude that you have towards learning. I think it's so beneficial if we all adopt that kind of attitude and don't shy away from the challenges that we all inevitably face in life. And to anybody out
you.
there,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, you're my pleasure. And to anybody else out there who's watching, who's resonating with Mayuree's story, who wants to maybe start tackling their challenges head on, then please come and join our community. You can also check out the Speak to Lead program. The links for those two things will be in the description below. And Mayuree, thank you once again for speaking. Bye bye.